Hello and welcome to my new Procreate video. If you're new here, my name is Irina and this is my channel where I share my creative work in both digital and traditional media. I hope you stay. In this tutorial, I'll show you how to paint a cute little house in Procreate. I'll be using my ethereal brush set. I'll leave the link down below. It's a mixed media set. For this illustration, I'll be using mostly the wet media brushes to create watercolor and gouache effect. The house sketch brush, paper texture and the color palette you can download for free. I'll also leave the link in the description. So grab your iPad and let's begin. So I've created a new screen-sized canvas and pasted the paper texture in it. I'm changing the blending mode to color burn to maximize the texture effect. I recommend locking the texture layer so you're not tempted to draw on it accidentally. I've created a new layer on top of everything, and using the little house stamp brush, I'm stamping the sketch somewhere in the middle of the canvas. I'm reducing the opacity of the sketch layer so it doesn't become part of my illustration. Now I'm creating a new layer and dragging it right down below the locked texture layer. With a paperizer brush and the light cream color from the palette, I'm painting a patch of paper where my illustration is gonna be, and changing the blending mode to multiply. You can duplicate this layer to make the paper effect more visible. I'm gonna put both textures in a separate folder for the convenience. And now I'm creating a new layer and placing it in between the background and the texture group. That's the first layer of the stack where I'll be painting my illustration. The first step is filling the main color of the house. With the Essence Fill brush, I pick the very first color swatch on top left and start filling the main part of the house, avoiding the windows. I use very gentle pencil moves to keep the transparent effect of watercolor. I'm using the smudge tool to blend the harsh borders of some brush strokes. Next thing, I'm covering the house with another layer of the same color, using the same brush, focusing on the areas where shading naturally occurs. I'm also smudging some of the harder borders of the brush strokes. Now I'm picking the number 1 helper brush and a darker shade of brown. It's the swatch right underneath the one I used for step 1. I'm making a color accent on the areas under the roof, around the big window and the bottom of the wall. I'm blending in the harsh borders with the smudge tool. With the same brush and color, I'm enhancing the area around the small round window. Next, I'm creating a new layer, changing the blending mode to multiply, and with the same number 1 helper brush, I'm painting the swirls on the side logs. They remind me of cinnamon swirl pastries. Now I'm back on the main color layer, and with the essence fill brush, I'm laying down some colors on the outside of the logs, giving them a little volume. Next, I would like to add some interesting texture to the house, so I pick the other wilderness brush, the reddish brown color, and randomly add some texture here and there. I'm changing the blending mode to shade. You can reduce the opacity if you find the texture too intense. Now I would like to add some wood effect, so I create a new layer and change the blending mode to multiply. With the Forest Secrets brush and the brown color, I start adding these horizontal lines with kind of scratchy motions, adding a wood effect to the wall. To intensify the effect, you can use various shades of brown. Next, I'm going to paint the roof. With the Essence Fill brush and blue-green color, I'm laying down the first layer of color exactly the same way I've painted the house brown, and blending the harsh borders with a smudge tool. Now the second layer of color, focusing on naturally shadowed areas. And same way I'm painting the window shutters. I'm picking the ghost brush now and the darker shade of blue-green color and creating a new layer, changing the blending mode to multiply. I'm adding darker color to the roof and the shutters. Now, on a new layer, with the multiply blending mode, I pick the Forest Secrets brush and make some scratching lines along the roof and the shutters. Now I'm going to create a new layer and change the blending mode to multiply. With the Essence Fill brush and the dark blue color, I'm filling the areas behind the windows, trying not to make the color too solid, to create an effect that something is going on in the house. On a new layer, on top of the main shutter's color, I'm painting the window frame with a thicker brown color, using the ghost brush. Same with the smaller window. Now I create a new layer under the window frame layer and add another element of the window on top of it. Next step is embellishment. With the number 1 helper brush and dark blue-green color, I'm adding the decorative elements to the roof and the shutters. I'm duplicating the layer for a more vivid effect, then duplicating again to flip horizontally and place it to the other side of the roof, erasing the parts that are not supposed to be visible. Now, on the new layer, I'm going to create a white window frame and decorative elements. You can duplicate the layer for a more intense effect. I've also duplicated the dark blue layer representing the inside of the house for more contrast. I'm going to group all the house layers as now it's time to work on the trees. I'm creating a new layer and dragging it right down underneath all the house layers as the trees are going to be behind the house. Using the Essence Fill brush and the warmer shade of green, I'm painting the first tree in kind of balloon shapes. I've painted a part of the second tree with the same color. Now I'm changing the color to the colder shades of green and paint the rest of the second tree, and also I'm mixing in some colder shade of green into the first tree. I'm painting the third tree in pink, mixing in some light blue, and also mixing in some pink and blue in the other two trees to bring the whole scene together. Now, On a new layer, on top of the tree foliage layer, I'm gonna paint the trunks and the branches using the ghost brush. For the first tree, I'm choosing a medium shade of brown. With the same color and brush, I'm adding the pink tree's trunk and branches. For the third tree, I'm changing the color to the darkest brown to give it some more variety. Now, on a new layer, with the blending mode changed to multiply, I'm picking the spirited brush and adding some vertical lines to the tree trunks. Now, on a new layer, with the normal blending mode, I'm adding the lines to the darkest trunk with a light shade of brown. Next thing, on the new layer, multiply blending mode, I'm picking the essence fill brush the dark blue-gray color. I'm painting this kind of leafy vegetations to the left of the house. Then changing the color to a deeper pink shade, I'm painting the other one right to the right side of the house exactly same way. Now finally the grass. I'm picking the warmer shade of green and painting the area in front of the house with the essence fill brush. Now with the sacred smoke brush, I'm adding another layer of color, making the grass fluffy. Back to the essence fill brush, I'm mixing in some of the colder shades of green on a new layer with the blending mode changed to multiply. Now reducing the size of the brush, I'm painting the grass blades with sharper strokes and with a smudge tool, I'm blending in the bottoms of the blades into the grass. And our illustration is ready. If you want to take it a bit further, you can always add something in the window, curtains, a cat, or a plant pot. I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial. Don't forget to like and subscribe.